Senator, do you believe personally that life begins at conception?
I believe that the potential for life begins at conception. I am a Methodist, as you know. My church has struggled with this issue. In fact, you can look at the Methodist Book of Discipline and see the contradiction and the challenge of trying to sort that very profound question out. But for me, it is also not only about a potential life, it is about the other lives involved. And therefore, I have concluded, after great concern and searching my own mind and heart over many years, that our task should be in this pluralistic, diverse life of ours in this nation, that individuals must be entrusted to make this profound decision, because the alternative would be such an intrusion of government authority that it would be very difficult to sustain in our kind of open society. And as some of you have heard me discuss before, I think abortion should remain legal, but it needs to be safe and rare. And I have spent many years now as a private citizen, as First Lady, and now as Senator, trying to make it rare, trying to create the conditions where women had other choices. I have supported adoption, foster care. I helped to create the campaign against teenage pregnancy, which fulfilled our original goal 10 years ago of reducing teenage pregnancies by about a third. And I think we have to do even more, and I am committed to doing that. And I guess I would just add, from my own personal experience, I have been in countries that have taken very different views about this profoundly challenging question. Some of you know I went to China in 1995 and spoke out against the Chinese government's one-child policy, which led to forced abortions and forced sterilizations, because I believed that we needed to bear witness against what was an intrusive, abusive, dehumanizing effort to dictate how women and men would proceed with respect to the children they wished to have. And then shortly after that, I was in Romania. And there I met women who had been subjected to the communist regime of the 1970s and 80s, where they were essentially forced to bear as many children as possible for the good of the state, and where abortion was criminalized and women were literally forced to have physical exams and followed by the secret police. And so many children were abandoned and left to the orphanages that unfortunately led to an AIDS epidemic. So, you know, when I think about this issue, I think about the whole range of concerns and challenges associated with it, and I will continue to do what I can to reduce the number and to improve and increase the care for women, and particularly the adoption system and the other opportunities that women would have to make different choices.
Senator, I want to go to the other end of the spectrum and the end of life and ask you, do you believe that it is compassionate, that it is appropriate to let someone who is really suffering choose to end their life?
Again, this is one of those incredibly challenging issues. You know, the Terry Schiavo case in Florida posed that for many people. And it was one of those decisions, to go back to Dr. Hunter's point, where there were people of good faith and people of strong feelings on both sides about what should happen to that woman's life. And I don't know that any of us is in a position to make that choice for families or for individuals. But I don't want us also to condone government action that would legitimize or encourage end-of-life decisions. Somehow there has to be a framework for us to determine how can people who are either able to make these decisions on their own do so, or if they are not, how best do we create a decision process for their families to try to decide. And, you know, we are being faced with a lot of these difficult decisions because of what the world we live in today with modern technology and so much else, and we're going to have to come to grips with them one way or another.
We've got to take a quick break, a commercial break. We'll be back with much more with Senator Clinton right after this.